Now we have ordinance 829, an ordinance of the town of Easton removing the required fee charged by retail establishments for paper bags. Let me start by emphasizing that this proposed legislation focuses solely on removing the 10-cent fee on paper bags. The plastic bag ban will remain in place as it's not the focus of today's discussion and falls beyond the scope of this agenda item. I am deeply proud of how our community has come together to protect our environment. Seeing our rivers, trees, and roads free of plastic bag litter is truly something to celebrate. My heartfelt thanks go out to everyone who has played a role in making our town an even better place to live. The reason for the proposal to remove this fee comes directly from the voices of many Easton residents who are feeling its impact, especially those in lower income brackets, who are already stretching every dollar to make ends meet. As I've heard from our senior citizens, young parents, and others who are struggling to make ends meet in these tough economic times, I've come to see that this fee, though well-intentioned, is placing an extra burden on those who can least afford it. It's hard to hear their stories and not believe that the council needs to address this matter. I can't forget the story of an elderly woman that I've recently spoken with who carefully counts her cents just to afford the bags she needs. That is a reality we cannot ignore. I fully understand and respect the concerns of retailers and those who support keeping the fee, as this change may impact them and plays an integral role in our decision-making process. As we move forward, I hope we can all keep in mind the needs of those who are struggling. Let us ensure that our decisions continue to support every member of our community, especially those who need our help the most.
So, this is a disproportionate impact, and I, on my way here, was doing some calculations. Okay, 10-cent fee. If somebody is paying $5 for 2 birthday cards, and on that $5, they will be paying, 30 cents sales tax, if I calculated it right in my head. And so the 10-cent fee would be on top of that and would raise effectively their sales tax to 40 cents. That's not a trivial amount, and I think this is a policy that does not have the appropriate distinctions between who and where it has to be collected. And then my second experience was more recent. I was in line at Kohl's, and there was a Hispanic man and his 2 young children, probably early elementary school, and he was buying them clothes for, obviously it was school clothes for the year, and they had a stack, probably 2 stacks, 6 inches or so high of clothing. And of course the sales associate asked, would you like a bag to carry these home? Would you like to pay 10 cents for a bag to carry these home with you? And the little girl piped up and said, yes, we'll pay the 10 cents. I just think that's unfair. That families that are coming in to try to outfit their children, who are walking out with armloads of clothing, it's just not right to be forcing them to pay this kind of fee. And so those are my starting thoughts on kind of getting focused on this.
I appreciate your concerns, both of you. I have heard from many people the exact opposite, that the ban is working and that the 10 cents is not onerous in any way, shape, or form. I think there's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think what we've done with the plastic ban bag and the 10 cents it just encourages people to get their own bag and bring it. And as it relates to, and I know it's but how, 2 years? Are we into this 2 years? Year and a half.
Well, we voted on it 2 years ago, and it went into effect.
When did it go into effect?
April 23.
1st.
April 23, so it's a year and a half, okay. So I have heard nothing but positive from both retailers and from the general public that the way the ordinance reads is not onerous to anybody, and it's, if there's somebody who needs 10 cents for a bag, I hope whatever retailer will be kind enough to give it to them.
There are several places in town, Aldi and BJ's come to mind, that do not provide bags for people, and those are places that people go when they're shopping on a budget. You have 2 facilities in town, St. Vincent de Paul and the Neighborhood Service Center, that provide food to people in need, and they provide them with bags. We had over 3,000 bags given out at the beginning of this process, just for free to people at different events. You can go to Walmart and buy a $2.47 bag that will hold 30 pounds. So there are bags available at a lower cost, and you could reuse that over and over again. The fee for the paper bags was twofold. One was to incentivize people to bring their own. The reason for that is because paper bags pollute just as much as plastic bags do. If you actually do the research, plastic bags, yes, they don't break down over time. They last hundreds of years. Paper bags force you to cut down trees, and it's a polluting process in order to make them. So the idea was, let's incentivize for people to bring their own. Yes, you have to use that bag a lot. Mr. Montgomery and I have talked about this in the past. You have to use that bag an awful lot, but that was the whole point of the incentivized 10 cents, was to say, okay, I'm going to bring my own bag, rather than pay the 10 cents. The problem is, as far as the paper bags go, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Target, sorry, I wanted to mention Target. Target used to give 5 cents if you brought your own bag, and that didn't work. People didn't bring their own bags for the 5 cents, but people will bring their own bags not to pay the 10 cents, and that was why that was put in place. That was reason number one, was to incentivize you to bring your own bag. The other reason was to help out retailers around the town. 10 cents, because paper bags are more expensive than plastic bags are. The idea was to help out businesses around town, because they are keeping the whole 10 cents. It is not a tax. There are places in town, there are places in the country where municipalities, I believe Baltimore City is an example, where they actually take some of that money as a tax that the city collects. We're not doing that. We're leaving it in the hands of the businesses to use in order to reorder bags. So those are just a couple of reasons why the 10-cent fee went in the first place. And I think it's telling in your opening statement, President Gonzalez, when you said that there aren't plastic, you don't see the plastic bags in the rivers in and around town because of that 10-cent fee. Whenever you do something for the environment, it is never convenient. If you look throughout all of the different policies that have been put in place, it is not convenient to do something for the environment, but it is important to do something for the environment.
I'm just not quite sure why we're even diving into all of this. It blows my mind. I mean, I am, since we've implemented the plastic bag fee and things of that nature, I mean, I forget my bag and have to cart it out to the car, do what I need to do. It has taught me to be responsible. It's taught me to bring my own bag. I mean, and I'm of the opinion of my other council member that I have not heard anything that is contrary to the ordinance. It concerns me that if you take the 10 cent out, really you've destroyed ordinance 829. I'm of the opinion it's either all or nothing, and you can't take that out on one hand and say that I'm for the environment, but we take the 10 cent out and say that we're looking out for people who are poor. Doesn't make sense to me. Either you bring your own bag and you will always have a bag. To bring this ordinance to this juncture, I'm not quite sure why we are here. I'm not quite sure why now. And I'll wait to hear further dialogue from others. My council member wrote a nice, compelling article, but at the end of his article, he had some what-ifs in there, and it was good reading, but I'm just not holistically convinced. I think this ordinance needs to stay as it is, and we make no changes until I receive some more data to support any changes. And as of today, I'm not convinced holistically that we need to change it based on a few testimonies that we've just had here from our council members, because none of my constituents in Ward 4 have said anything of that nature. So and I'm gonna tell you up front, I am gonna vote no, I'm gonna vote that we do not change this ordinance. And once we have a discussion tonight, I will be the one to call for the vote, that we can deal with this tonight and be done with it.
Roll call vote?
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Mr. Abatello?
No.
Mr. Montgomery?
No.
Member Davis?
Yes.
President Gonzalez?
No. It dies 3-2. It will continue, and we will have the public hearing on 9/16